living, I got to ask you about gas prices.
Yeah.
So according to AAA, the national average of gas prices is now $3.42 a gallon. Bank of America is predicting crude oil prices could soar another 50% by next June. Could the average gas price in America be $4 a gallon in the United States soon?
Well, we certainly hope not. As I say, the Energy Information Agency is going to put out their forecast this week. The president is all over this. Of course, every president is frustrated because they can't control the price of gasoline because it's a global market. He can call upon increased supply, which he has done. And OPEC is unfortunately controlling the agenda with respect to oil prices. OPEC is a cartel and it controls over 50% of the supply of gasoline.
Is there anything that the Biden administration can do about OPEC?
Well, he can call upon them to increase supply, and they have chosen this past week not to do that. So that is going to increase the chokehold on access to affordable fuel at the pump.
That is Jennifer Granholm saying, look, there's nothing we can do. Do you believe that?
Well, first of all, I will agree with her that OPEC is a cartel of gangsters, and their hold on crude is exactly why we need to move to electric vehicles and renewable energy. Like, I think that's exactly the one of the points. In addition, and this is one of the things that I tried to say to my friends on the left. If we want to make this argument to the American people, it can't just be the doomsday argument. Some of it has to be an economic argument. And the economic argument, of course, is that we'll go through another sort of industrial revolution where we're going to push things forward and create new jobs and new industries. And the other part of it, of course, is that we'll be less dependent on, outside sources for our energy. It is true that America has become more energy dependent in terms of, oil and other natural gas. But we can become even more independent if we produce it here through wind and solar and electric cars. And, OPEC right now, they're a bunch of gangsters that basically control the market. They have a 50% market share. That's exactly why we need to transition to another position. I think Biden right now, I think he's making one major mistake. And that is there's a pipeline, I believe, in the northern Michigan, that goes into Canada. And the Canadians are upset about this. But Biden, while he's talking about some of the energy issues that we have here, is going to close another pipeline right before the winter months, which I think they say this is a possibility. And I think that is a mistake. At least wait until the winter is over before you start shutting down pipelines in the United States. There is a real fear that there's going to be an oil spill and ruin the Great Lakes. And I get that. And I think that it probably does need to be shut down at some point, but not right before the winter months when we have this energy shortage. And crude oil is becoming really expensive. I think a lot of these OPEC countries are trying to make up for all of the money that they lost during the pandemic. So they're overcharging the whole world on crude. And I think we need to become as independent from the OPEC cartel as we can. Is there something that Biden can do in the immediate future? I'm not so sure. I mean, we have the oil reserve. We have reserve oil here in the United States, and I think he's going to tap into that. That's the one thing he can do. Other than that, and in order to keep prices from skyrocketing to $7 a gallon, I think Europe is in even worse position than we are. But other than tapping into our oil reserves, there's really nothing we can do.
Now, I disagree. I think there is more we can do. And a lot of it has to do kind of with the topic that you just mentioned, pipelines, for instance. Shutting down the Keystone XL pipeline on his first day in office sent a gigantic message to the American energy industry about where things were headed. That resulted in the loss of 20,000 or so jobs by some estimates, not just on the pipeline, but associated jobs along the way, the restaurants and the various businesses that would benefit from the workers who make that money working on the pipeline. These pipelines, think about the way that oil is transported. If you don't have a pipeline, you've got to do it by truck or rail. And the incidence of spills and the incidence of accidents actually increases in those circumstances. So in terms of just like the pure environmental nature of this, a pipeline is actually rather a safe way to transport oil. It's actually a really much safer way and much less risky way to transport energy.